I started crying by knowing physically that I want to understand what this experience is. Because in happy moment, we should not cry. We should smile and stuff, but I started crying. So when moment comes that your Atma that you have is Jivatma, when Paramatma is understanding it, the moment triggers that you always cry. That's a true devotion that we all sink each other. So that's kind of a Sai to surrender.
Sairam, dear listeners, welcome to Sai SOUL 100. Our guest today is Brother Prabusai Radhakrishnan from Edison, New Jersey. Sairam, Brother Prabusai, welcome to Sai SOUL 100.
Sairam, sister, and thank you for giving us a wonderful opportunity. And thank you, Swami, for bringing this opportunity to share my experience to all the devotees who are there in region 2 and other devotees who are listening and going to enjoy this video. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Welcome. Thank you. Please share your story.
I born and brought up with Swami family, right? Sai family. Like my father, mother, and my grandparents, everybody is Swami's devotees. So I started out with Palavgas, every experience started out with it. But eventually that experience that I need to get is how to connect myself, Swami and I, and towards to surrender. And my native place is Rajapalayam, which is southern city in India. And where we have bhajans at Samiti on Thursdays, and then we have bhajan at my home, usually at home at Tuesdays. And then Sunday we go to medical camp, and Saturday we do Narayana Seva. It's more of Swami activities. So I didn't find any difficulties. It's like surrounded by all good people, and we know each other, and all our whatever the topic that we bring in, it's related to Swami. Whatever the service that we do, it's related to Swami. That's how it's all started. So by birth, we know Swami, and that's how it's going on. I moved to Palani, which is also a southern city in India. Those who are know Swami, that Swami used to come to Kodaikanal every year until 2006. And he used to, when he goes back to Puttaparthi, he used to take a travel towards airport through Palani. That means whenever he comes back from Kodaikanal, he used to touch up Palani and then moves towards the airport. So every year we don't go to Puttaparthi. That my early childhood days, I never went to Puttaparthi. So we always go to Kodaikanal to see Swami. A lot of Padanamaskars and a lot of darshans I got there without knowing fully into Swami that in the childhood days that we play around. And one of time he used to come to Palani, and then there is a place that he can go there and meet people. There is 300 people surrounded out there, and then we do bhajan there, and then Swami comes and give the darshan. So because of that particular place, everybody surrounded to Palani comes there to see Swami rather than going to Kodaikanal, because Kodaikanal is tough to get Padanamaskars, and it's difficult to go there and get slot. And they started coming in. And one often, like around my 10 years of age, where he goes back to airport, he touched up the Palani, and there is 300 people surrounded there, and then he goes back to the airport. We have a small village. I used to be, I completed my schools and college there. So what we decided is, why don't we do bhajan there in front of our village? So when Swami pass by, let's get the blessings over the ride, or we can say hi to him and all those. So we were like only 15 people. We don't have a red carpet. We don't have any kind of arrangements for Swami to come in, and we started singing bhajans and stuff. I think my age is around 10, so me and my brother was playing around in that place, like only 15 people, right? And I still remember the bhajan, Om Namah Shivaya, Shivaya Namah Om. Then when we started the singing, Swami passed by, and then usually when Swami goes through the car, we have 25 cars in the front and then 25 cars in the back, and then Swami students in the van, all those goes by. So there is no point that he can stop and come in, right? So we started singing, and then we saw Swami, and all of a sudden Swami stopped the car, and he came down, and then he went into we don't have a red carpet. It's a pure land that we were all sitting, and then we have one chair, which is very particularly a normal chair that we have. And then he came in, he sat there for finishing up entire bhajan, and then he gave a chocolate to everybody, and then we all got that blessing. So during that time, so he's a 10-year-old guy sitting next to Swami's feet. Myself and my brother was talking around it and playing around it, saying that you take the right feet and I take left feet. We'll just play around there. Like that's the experience it started off with. Like Swami is one of mine and one of my family. Right? We don't get into kind of he's a different person. Because by looking at Swami, everybody's like kind of, how do we get into the place where we can talk to Swami, where we can get the Pada Namaskar? But here, Swami is coming down for only for 15 people, just giving up their blessings, right? They are thinking about Swami can come, but we got the blessing on that day. And I've been a topper in my schools and topper in my college, and everything happens peacefully. And that's when the ego comes in, right? Like I know everything, Swami has everything to do for us. So when it time comes to go for an interview and get into the job and stuff, nearly I attended close to 100 plus interviews, and I didn't get any job. And even though being a topper, when all my friends were got into the job, and they were claiming that yeah, even you're a devotee and this all things happens and you're very smooth and very calm, but still you didn't get that. But I was wondering something is going to happen before I get into the next chapter, right? Like getting into job is the next chapter from school and college. So while looking around the job, and I moved to Chennai, and I was like kind of looking around jobs and going for interviews. And one sort of time, my mom came back and said, "Yeah, you still you're pursuing the jobs and stuff that going through. Why don't you go for a seva, right? You go and do seva in Puttaparthi." That's the first time I'm getting into Puttaparthi visit, right? Because so far I've been kind of there and safely that I go to Kodaikanal and get darshans and stuff. So then I gave my name through my native place, Rajapalayam, and then they added me into the sevadal list, and they sent the list, and then I was prepared to go to Puttaparthi. Usually, my native place, they take the service as hard physical service they want to do. Like if a Mahilas can go to canteen, and all our men's can go into a kind of physical service that we can go and clean up things and stuff. They added me into that list. And and all of a sudden, what happens is my district coordinator, district convener, he came back and said, "You just finished up your college, and you know a little bit of communication, and you know how to talk to people who comes in VIP list and all those. Why don't you give her a name to Yajur Mandir or Kulhan Hall? There is a service that we can do there so that you can meet VIPs and talk." And at that time, I didn't know what is that about, right? So I just, yeah, go ahead and give it the name. So I didn't know anything about the service, so go and give it. That's when the real scary part started. So as soon as I gave the name for service to Yajur Mandir and Kulhan Hall, my service leader, the batch leader, came in and said there's going to be interview process. So I was kind of, what kind of interview process it is? I already went through 100 plus interviews. What is the big deal that we can take another interview? He said, "No, that's not deal, because this Swami is going to take up interview, and you need to be prepared for all those your 5Ds, human values and slogas, stories and stuff." I was kind of scared of, and then I started preparing myself. They have like 4 hours in between, so I started preparing myself and see how effectively I can clear that interview, right? So this is kind of Swami's playing around, right? He is trying to building the interview process. Like I've been there for 100 plus interviews with ego added into it, and now he's building me as a spiritual interview that I need to go through a process. Just giving an experience of be prepared for anything. It's not that you pray Swami and then go to the interview and get it done. So it's even though it's Swami's blessings would be there, but we need to be prepared for that particular interview. So I started reading through Swami's scriptures and all those discourses within that 4 hours, and I'm very well prepared. And then with white and white, with Swami Vibhuti on head, and then I just went there. There is a process they mentioned is you need to go to the admin center where if anybody went to the Puttaparthi, they know that near to Radio Sai, there is admin center where we can go in, and then the interview is going to happen, and then you come out of the room and you have to wait for the other room to wait the results. It's purely the same interview process we go through in our career, right? So every now and every person has to go, and then interview takes. Nobody can talk each other, so we just go out of the room. So my turn came, and then I went inside. I was purely looking at Swami, right? Because he said the Swami is going to take up interview. So when I went inside, Sairam Chakravarti Sairam was sitting there, and then he started asking me, "What's your name?" That's my interview question. So all I gave is Prabusai is my name, and he wrote down something on the paper, and then he asked me to leave. When I came outside, so I was thinking about what is this process I went through. There was 4 hours I've been preparing for it, and that's when I understood Swami is giving a fully experience of my career. The next step that you need to go to any interview, you need to be prepared, even though the question would be very simple, but still you need to be prepared. And then the result came, And then they wrote the name Prabusai to the other column is I need to go to the Mahilas Gate, which is Swami stays in the Yajur Mandir. If anybody knows Puttaparthi very well, that he stays in the Yajur Mandir on the left side of the building. He comes out when he goes for darshan. He was to go to Kulgand Hall, where he enters. That's the Mahilas Gate. So he goes through Mahilas, and then that's the gate I have to stay. And then they gave me a lot of roles and responsibilities, and that's what the next 10 days that I have to go through. And then they added up an additional thing is you're not supposed to share whatever happens here, that you have to keep it with you. And being a young person, that the youth mind that it goes through, I was thinking, what are the curious stuff that we're going to learn here, right? We know Swami as our own family, but now it's something is going to happen in next 10 days. So let's see what's going to happen is what the mindset it's gone through. So next step, what happens is the fun experience with Swami, right? See, always Swami knows everything. That's how it plays around. So Swami get the food from his brother family every day in the morning. They bring the food, and somebody has to take the food and give it to Swami's room, and Swami eat that food. That's the process they have been following. This is my first day. That the big boxes came in, and then they gave the food, and then one person who stand next to the Swami's room, he collected the food and he gave it to the inside. And my job is like kind of 6 to 12. My seva is 6 to 12, and then I have to leave and then come back after 6 to 12 again, like 6 to 12, 2 slots in a day, 12 hours job. So I was thinking, Swami gets a lot of good foods, right? So we need to go to canteen and eat something which is regular food that we have to. So I was thinking in my mind, why don't I get that kind of food that I can eat it today? And this being the first day that I didn't know what process they go through, but it's just running around my mind. And Swami is just next to that room, right? So he can hear it, even if I think about it in my mind, but still Swami can hear everything, whatever we think of. So on that day, they were asked us to leave for lunch. And then I said, I'm going to stay here and see what they came up with. So one person came, once Sairam came from the room and said, Swami's prasadam is going to be, we are going to bring it outside. The process is they will give it to Swami. Swami is not going to eat fully, like he can touch and then he eat a little bit. And then that whole food, the plate that is going to come out, then who are there in that sevadal side, they can eat it. So we are not supposed to take it out, but we have to eat it there itself. So then I was kind of surprised to see we were just thinking about taking that food, and Swami is just kind of giving it. But even though it's a process, but I didn't know that, right? And all of a sudden, what happens? The food came in. This is where the fun he added up. In canteen, we can get chapati, rice, and all those masalas and stuff that we can get in. On that particular day, I got ragi sankati. So in Telugu, they call it as it's made out of millet, which I don't like it. Which that's the Swami's food. The Swami likes very much, right? So that ragi millet sankati along with the pickle, I got it. So now everybody left for the food to canteen. That I was the only person to finish it because it's the Swami's prasadam. There is no way that I can throw it. So I finished it fully. So it's kind of experience that Swami knows everything, along with be mindful of asking it. So he knows what to give. So and not only that first day, right? So every other day, the nine days that I stayed here, like I got a lot of Swami's prasadam, laddus, and a lot of sweets. The first day is experience, and next day is all kind of blissfulness that he gave a lot of food. So that's when I felt like I was kind of in there in the Swargaloka, that where I can eat Swami's foods. Who are giving that food to Swami, and it comes back to us where I can eat it for the 10 days. And being there for the 6 to 12 and then move on with another slot that I come in the evening. So this is a practice that they follow 12 hours. It's not stretch that you have to take 6 hours and 6 hours job. And in between, you can go and sleep and do other activities, right? So I never had an alarm that I have to wake up at that particular time. And then all 10 days, I woke up at the right time and I go to take a bath and come back to the right place. And then there are certain activities that I have to do in the seva. These are all teaching the discipline towards the next chapter. So it's more of Swami preparing me for the interview process. The next step, he's preparing for a discipline that you have to maintain in not only that seva that you have to, when you go out, you have to start doing for everything. And with the Swami's blessings, I got to know about the 48 days of Jyoti Dhyana. which one of our Swami devotees taught us to do that for 48 days. And I did that after completing that seva. Jyoti Dhyanam in the means we have to keep the Jyoti in our eyes, that we keep it in our full body, that we have to transform that, and then the Jyoti has to go and help others. So that is a process that they explained it, and we have to continue to do it for 48 days, keeping that one wish that we want to ask for Swami, and continue to do that for 48 days with same day the same experiences, but still we have to wish for one item that we achieve for 48 days. Basically, that is, it's kind of practice that we have to go through. That what I understood from there, even though it's a hard process, it's difficult to do it, but what I understood from there is, when you start preparing something for a 48 days, and you are wishing for something, it's not that simply if you do 48 days it's going to happen. It's about you prepare every day for that wish. Suppose I want a job, I want to something needs to be happen in my life, but I will be preparing for that every 40, even every day in the 48 days. And this all happened, my service and everything happened in 2007. In 2008, on January 31st, I got offer from big MNC company. This is the 48th day of my finishing up the Jyoti Dhyana. So it's basically, Swami is kind of, you come here, do the service, and I'll take care of your interview process, but do the practice, right? You do the practice and prepare yourself, being there and discipline, all those, it's all played very well to get into the job. And through that job, I came to US, and it's a big MNC that they brought me to US, and I went to region 1. And that's when the same Maya comes in. Like Swami gave everything. Now I'm done. I'm completely focusing on the work and completely focusing on the family. I got married. I got the kid. But I do now and then do the bhajan at home, but still kind of not getting into any kind of region to participate. And this all happened till from 2008 to 2018. And one fine day, when my wife was telling me, why don't you keep telling me the stories and you are getting a lot of experience from Swami. Why don't you have our kid to join the SSC or Palavigas? We used to call us Palavigas before. And then, yeah, I went there, region 1, and I met Greater Hartford, Barbara and Bernie, and then we nominated her for the SSC, and then this whole process started off. My mind always, like in my childhood days, I always look for Swami as a big picture that I have to keep it at home. It's not a small picture because we have small house at that back then, but now whenever we go into any kind of home that we live for, but we have to keep big Swami's picture. So the 2022, June 28, 2022, when I went there for bhajan, after finishing our bhajan and I came outside, Bernie and Barbara, who is the coordinator there and president, they started asking me, do you need a Swami's picture? Then I said, yeah, well, of course I can. I didn't know which picture, what kind of picture. Maybe they give a small picture to keep in. Then I said, thank you, Swami. You can give it to me, then I'll keep it. They gave me the picture which is behind me. And not only one, they gave me 2 pictures with the same size. And then they said somebody moving to Florida, they don't want to take Swami's picture. So they gave it to center, which they don't want to keep it because the reason is we don't want to keep so many things in the center, which we need to move around when we have bhajans and stuff. So they said, why don't you take it up? Then immediately accepted it because there is no reason. Like I've been carving for that kind of a picture, but it's 2 pictures is the same size and this is very big. But I don't have that home, which is very big, that to keep it because I was staying in the apartment. But still, Swami's blessing, right? I took those and then kept it at my home. And due to work scenarios that I have to move in, I came to region 2. From region 1 to region 2 due to the work stuff. And all process started and one fine day that we want to finalize. And we have been going back and forth with the attorney and other people who's selling the house. And we want a particular date, which is very auspicious date that we have to pick it. They simply rejected it. There are many reasons they rejected it. And then we still fought for that particular day and what didn't happen. And then one fine day, we were kind of hesitant to go with that date, but it's kind of okay to go. And then we went there and to sign it. While we sign it, we want to take a pictures of that house because it's a new house that currently where I sit, that this is the house that I bought. So we started taking a pictures. Myself, I was taking a pictures of the home that to make sure any issues or anything that we have. And then usually any phone that we have memories to share, right? So when I looked up the memories, it showed me a Swami's picture, this picture, what I have it in behind. Then I said, what is the reason that it's showing this picture? Because that's the picture I took it on that day when I signed the paper, and I want to bring Swami as the first into my house. So I brought the picture. Then right exactly the memory showed me June 28, 2022, where I got this picture from region 1. And June 28, 2023 is where I got the signature signed for that home. So it's that's when I understood Swami has everything is planned, pre-planned everything. He is kind of giving me as a assurance that you're gonna get home, but I was the only I'm gonna be the first person to be there. Rather, you decided, I decided the dates already. So that is kind of Sai turned into surrender, right? He gave me a lot of experiences towards to understand Swami and what Swami does, and now it's like you pre-planned everything. All I have to do is act on it rather than pushing towards other directions, right? So that's the experience that I got from that picture. And one fine the region two that I've been going through with all this SSC activities and stuff, and then we have been have there for a retreat. And last year retreat is where my kid participated in some of the SSC programs, the cultural programs, dance and stuff. And I've been there and to see to look at what's happening. And brother Chetan uncle pulled me into some of the technical activities to do for that program. And then I've been there for throughout that experiences, what they're practicing and recording it and all those. But still, when that play happens on last year, towards the end, there was a song came in, and every kid comes in front of Swami. They were all standing there. I started crying. This is the experience I got the first time when I had it on 2007, where I did the service in Puttaparthi, and the second time it's happening. So then it's by knowing physically that I want to understand what this experience is, because when happy moment we should not cry. We should smile and stuff. But I started crying. So and I started reading through some of the discourses to understand what that means. Is basically when moment comes that your atma that you have is jivatma, when paramatma is understanding it, that it the moment triggers that you always cry. So this is the true experience. Like the first time when I got into the experience of 2007, it's all because of my parents and my relatives. Those blessings that I got into that experience. Now, because of my kid, it's not only my kid performing it, but it's about the experience that they built in. The SSC children's were built in. I got into the same experience. Devotion has many meanings. So I feel like devotion is something that what you have in inner atma that you think that it connects to our jiva, paramatma, that's a true devotion that we all sync each other. So that's kind of a side to surrender is what I felt in throughout my life, and I continue to do that, and I let everybody to continue to do side to surrender and share their experience as well. Thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, Brother Prabusai, thank you so much for talking about Sai to Surrender. It actually has so many elements. I mean, starting with you, of course, being a topper, in your high school and college, and to come out with that ego saying that I'm going to get that job, and everybody else is getting the job, but you're going to the interview again and again and again. And all that is also orchestrated by Swami. But because of those struggles, and because of your mother said, go and why don't you go and do service? What a blessing that you were able to go and serve Swami like the way you did, standing at the gates, so such close proximity to Swami, and not just that, to have Swami's food.
Yeah.
I mean, that's just a true blessing. And because Swami heard you, he didn't exactly give you the food you wanted, but you got the food that Swami had, and that's just a beautiful blessing. And then through that discipline, when you did Jyoti Dhyanam, right, that discipline, all of that comes together. And ultimately, you do land that job that Swami wanted to churn you into earning that job with all that transformation that happens as a result of it. He didn't just give it to you. If he just gave you that job, where's the learning, right? Where's the growth? Where's the spiritual growth? And I'm very, very blessed to even hear your story of how Swami has continuously guided you. It's not the easiest task, life is not always hunky-dory, but along the way, Swami is taking care of every ounce of your path. So thank you so much for being at Sai Soul 100 and sharing your story.
It's a blissful experience that even when I share it, that I feel like Swami is there with me all the time. So thank you, Sairam.
Sairam, dear listeners, Thank you for listening to Sai Soul 100 with Prabusai Radhakrishnan. I'm Prabha Swaminathan. Until next time, Jai Sairam.